Hi guys and welcome back to my channel. I'm really sorry about the lighting, it's just the sun is like right here by the window and it's going in and out. We've got dark, we've got light, we've got all sorts going on. I'm really sorry about that. But I hope you guys had a happy new year and I hope you guys had a nice holiday period. I've also noticed quite a few new subscribers recently, so I wanted to say hi, thank you for subscribing and welcome. I don't know how you found me, but welcome, I'm so glad that you're here. This video is going to be my 2020 quarter one inventory. This includes everything that I have acquired up until this point, even including some stuff that hasn't arrived yet. This was applicable from January 1st. I haven't bought anything beauty-wise new since January 1st, but there is still stuff that's not physically here in person that I have also included. So I'm going to go through each category and tell you what I used to have, what I currently have, and what my future goal or my long-term goal for that particular category is. So the first category or section of categories is hair care. For shampoo, in my last inventory, I had 3, and I currently have 6. Now the reason I have 6 is because I bought a ton in the Black Friday sale, because I buy one specific shampoo, and that shampoo is, when they have their Black Friday sales, it's just like insanely priced, so I always buy it in the Black Friday sales, and I bought a ton basically. So that's why I have so many of those, and to be honest, I'm not miserable about it because I know that I'll go through them, and I don't generally buy drugstore shampoo unless it's like an emergency, so I'm happy to have as many as I have. I wouldn't aim to buy any more. I'd use some up before I actually replace them. So conditioner, I used to have 4 and I still have 4. Hair masks, I used to have 0 and I currently have 1, and that's because Soap and Glory had an offer on at Boots. So my goal for hair masks would probably be 1. I don't really need any more than 1, so I'm probably not going to buy any more. For shampoo and conditioner, that can be a little bit more. I'm quite flexible on that. I don't really have goals for those two. Leave-in conditioners, I count a leave-in conditioner as anything that you put in the ends of your hair, like a cream, like a lotion, or anything, serum, anything like that goes in the ends of your hair. I consider that within my leave-in conditioner category, and I used to have 3 and I currently have 2. A dry shampoo, I used to have 4 and I currently have 4. For leave-in conditioners, I think that having 2 is okay, but I would really only like to have 1 because I only ever use 1 at a time anyway, so when I get that down to 1, I won't keep buying them. Unless, of course, I have about this much left and then I buy a whole new tube, and that I would count that as 2 because it's 2 tubes worth, but even though there's only that minimal amount, I would still count it. In those cases, then yeah, I would have more than 1. Dry shampoo, I definitely don't need 4, but I will use up the ones that I've got and then not replace them, and then when I buy them again, I will buy maybe 2 cans at a time, unless it's on offer, and then I'll buy more. But yeah, I don't go through it really quickly. It's not something that I feel like my collection is majorly out of control. Hairspray, I have 1. I had 1 for the whole of last year and probably the year before. I only ever need 1 hairspray. I very rarely use hairspray. So heat protectant, I did have 2 and I currently have 2. For really anything in the hair care category, so like leave-in conditioners, dry shampoo, anything really, I only need 1 unless I'm short on 1 and then I buy a whole new container of another, and that would count as 2. Any other time really, I just need the 1 because I don't alternate. I focus on 1 and I use 1 up, and then that goes, and then I focus on another and that goes. But yeah, I don't need more than 1 at a time. Hair oil, I did have 2, I currently have 3. Conditioning sprays, I did have 4, I currently have 3. And conditioning sprays is like leave-in conditioner, like it's a 10 that you spray into your hair. Texturizing spray, I did have 2 and I still have 2. Scalp treatment, I had 0 and I still have 0. Scalp treatment, I don't want probably ever. I won't use it because I hate having things in my scalp, and I have quite oily skin, so putting anything in my scalp just makes my hair look greasy, so I would never use anything like that. So that can stay as 0. But in terms of the texturizing spray, I'm just going to get that down to 0 and not replace them. I don't really like texturizing sprays, not for my hair anyway. I generally, if I'm going to wear my hair down, it's either going to be straight or I'm going to curl it properly or scrunch it with mousse or gel. texturizing spray doesn't have enough hold for me in terms of like scrunching it. It gives me waves, but it doesn't reduce the frizz that I get from my hair. So I don't like using texturizing spray all that much. So I'm happy to get that to 0 and then not buy anymore. In terms of skincare, but first of all, I'm going to try and fix this lighting issue that we've got going on here. Okay, I've closed the blind a little bit more. Hopefully that will stop the sun doing a weird thing, because every time the sun comes in, my camera adjusts and the lighting doesn't work and it's a whole thing. Okay, so the next category is skincare, and the first item in that is facial sprays or toners. And for that, I did have 8 and I currently have 8. I don't really need more than 2. I don't need 8. What happened was last year Revolution kind of brought out more in their skincare range, and they just basically exploded skincare wise. So, and they brought out 5 or 6 different toners at a time, and I bought all of them because I wanted to try all of them, but realistically I only really need 2, maybe 3, just because they do different things and my skin is like quite combination. It varies depending on what is happening, and what the weather is changes my skin, what the temperature is changes my skin, like what body wash I use or facial wash I use changes my skin. So like it just varies so much that it helps to have different versions, but I don't need 8. So I'm going to try and pare that down and basically get it to 3, maybe 4 would be okay, but realistically I only need like 2 or 3. Facial serums, I did have 5 and I currently have 5. I don't need 5, but I think I probably need to keep 3, just because I count facial serums as like anything that's a specialized product. So like this anti-shine base lotion is not a serum, but it's not a moisturizer either. It's post-serum pre-moisturizer, but I would count this as a serum because it isn't a moisturizer and it's not a toner, it's just like in between. So I like keeping this, and I like having one of these around. This is a serum. Well, this isn't a serum, it's a serum and a primer. But I don't use it as a primer, I only use it as a serum. But having these 2 around, I like to wear them together because the serum does the serum part and the anti-shine lotion I put in my serum category, but it's not actually a serum. So in that kind of thing, and I also have a hyaluronic acid serum, so that would be 3. That's a long way of saying, basically, that I want to keep maybe 3, maybe 4 serums, because I will use them. Eye cream, I have 1, and I had 1 to start off with. I've never had more than 1. Eye serum, I have 1. Again, I've never had more than 1. Day cream, I did have 9, and I currently have 7. I don't need that many day creams. Honestly, I only need like 1, so I want to try and get that down. Facial oil, I decluttered all my facial oils because I don't use them, so I currently have 0, and I did have 0 last year as well. Sheet masks, I had 15, I now have 19 because Erin gave me some, but I am focusing on using up all my sheet masks this year and I'm not buying any more. So when that category gets to 0, it will remain 0. I'll probably remove it from the spreadsheet because it's never going to be more than 0 unless I get some as a gift or something like that. Face masks are like masks that come in like a jar or a pot or a squeeze tube or whatever, just not sheet masks. And I did have 4 of those and I still have 4 of those. I only really need 2, 1 for when my skin is dry and 1 for when my skin is oily. So I will try and reduce that down to 2. Eye masks, I did have 0 and now I have 1. I will use those up and again, not replace them. So cleansers, I did have 4 and now I have 3. And by cleanser, I mean anything that is not a face wash. So not makeup removers, but things that are labelled for makeup removing. So like my Body Shop balm cleanser and my Superdrug hot cloth cleanser and the Your Good Skin comforting gel cleanser. Like I wouldn't use this as a daily face wash, I would use this to take makeup off, but it's not a makeup remover. Those kinds of cleansers are in this category. So I have 3 of those and I only need 1. So I'll use those up and then not replace the ones until I have 1. Makeup removers then that are specifically specifically say on the bottle makeup remover, I have 1, and I did have 0. I wanted to try out an eye makeup remover to see if it removed my eye makeup any better than the gel cleanser did, but it didn't, so once that goes, I might replace it because I'm not buying makeup wipes so much anymore, so I probably will buy it, but I won't buy the same type again. Face wash, in terms of like daily face wash, as in once in the morning, once in the evening, whether I'm wearing makeup or not, I did have 4, and I currently still have 4. Again, that's something that I always buy multiples of because I know what I like and I only buy the one type, so I just, when I go to the shop and it's like 3 for 2, then I'll buy like as many as I can and I'll just gradually use them. So that's something that I don't really necessarily want to go for. Face wipes, packet wise, I did have 7 because they were on special offer, and now I have 2, and I'll probably keep buying them, maybe in 2s, but I won't buy as many or use them up as frequently. So the 2 packets that I have at the moment, I will use less, and then I will buy less throughout the year. So rather than, like, between October and now, I've used up 5 packets, and that's a lot to me. So this year coming, I will probably, rather than 5 within 2 or 3 months, use up maybe, for example, 1 or 2 packets for those 2 or 3 months. So I'm not like stopping, I'm just reducing the number that I'm using. Like when I'm wiping away swatches, I'll grab a face cloth and dampen it, or use one of my microfiber makeup remover cloth things from the makeup remover company. Something like that, because then I'm using less wipes on swatches or whatever. It's just to reduce wastage and protect the environment, basically. Night creams, I did have 1 and now I currently have 2. I don't use night cream very much. That's something that I want to try and use up, but I really only need 1 because I don't use it. I need just the 1 is fine. SPF, like facial SPF, I did have 0 and now I have 1. Lip scrub, I did have 1 and I still have 1. SPF, I will keep to have 1. I don't really need more than 1. And again, with the lip scrub, I will keep to 1 and don't really need more than 1. Deodorant, I did have 4 and I currently have 3. My deodorants I buy from Native, and I buy the box of 3 each time that I buy them, and then I use them up. It lasts me like over a year to use them all up. So I am okay just buying the box set, so I will constantly always have at least 3. So I don't buy another box set unless I've used up the last box set. So I will never have more than 3, apart from that time that I had 4 because I had to buy 1 because I went away and I forgot to bring deodorant with me. But yes, I haven't replaced it. I bought an additional 1 and then used it up but didn't replace it. I just kept the 3 Native ones. Perfume, I did have 3 and I currently have 4. I'm okay having a selection of perfumes. I don't really want more than 5 or 6. But I'm not gonna be buying any more really unless something's really, really cheap, because 4 is fine. Scented wipes, I did have 0 and I still have 0, but I did have 1 when I did my original inventory at the beginning of last year. So that's why that category is there. Foot spray, I did have 1, I've always had 1 and I still have 1, and I don't want any foot sprays really, so I'm just gonna use up the 1 that I have and then not buy any more. Hand gels, as in like antibacterial hand gels. I did have 27, I now have 26. I probably will buy more, but I only buy them if I'm at Bath & Body Works, and I don't know if I'm going to Bath & Body Works this year because I don't know if I'm going to San Francisco this year yet. So we'll see, maybe I'll buy some, maybe I won't, but I buy them from Bath & Body Works because I like the scents that they do there and they're really good priced, whereas here they're kind of expensive for the nice smelling ones. So that's why I have so many of those. Body wash, I did have 9 and now I have 10. I won't be buying any body wash for a while. I would like to have 3. 1 small one for traveling, 1 for my shower and 1 for my bath. I don't need any more than that. Hand cream, I had 18, I now have 23. Hand cream, I again really only need 1 for work, 1 for my car, 1 for my bag and 1 for hair. So 4, that's all I need. Why I have 23, I don't know. Foot creams, I did have 3, I currently have 2. I only really need 1 foot cream, and when I finish up the foot creams that I've got, I will only buy the Soap & Glory foot cream that they do because that's the best one I've ever tried. So body oil, I did have 1 and now I have 0 because I decluttered it. Body spray, I did have 0 and now I have 2. Body lotion is another category where I just need to use up more. I stopped buying body lotion years ago. People still get it for me for gifts, but not like in as large amounts. So the amount that's coming into my collection is like slowing. So I did have 33 and I currently have 36. Body lotion, realistically, I only need maybe 2 or 3 at a time. I would like a thick one, but also a thin one for when it's warm, but my skin is dry, but I don't need that like intense moisturizing. So maybe 2 or 3, but I definitely don't need like 36. Shave cream, I did have 1, I still have 1. Body scrub, I had 0 and now I have 1. Body scrub I don't necessarily need in my collection at all times. I use it when I have it, but I have exfoliating gloves that I put on basically almost every time I wash, so I'm always exfoliating anyway with body wash, so I don't necessarily need a body scrub, but I use it when I have it. Bubble bath, I did have 1 and now I have 3. A bubble bath, I don't need more than 3. I don't really need more than 1, but I got some because they were really cheap and I wasn't on my no buy anymore, so that's why I have those. Sunscreen, as in like body sunscreen, I did have 2 and now I have 1, which needs decluttering and I need to replace that because that one that's been in my cupboard has been in my cupboard for at least 3 years. And it's probably gonna do nothing. I don't necessarily burn when it's winter because the sun here is just not strong enough, but I will like protect my face, but I won't wear sunscreen unless it's like I'm going out in the summer months and it's hot. So I will replace that one later when I need to worry about it. After sun, I did have 2, I still have 2. Lip balms, I had 59, I now have 55. Lip balms is something that I buy in the pack. I buy the large packets of the lip smackers and all the different flavors, and I like to buy the weird flavors like cookie flavors and like, because we don't get that here, so I buy those large packets of lip smackers when I'm in the States. Again, I only buy them when I'm in the States, so if I don't go to the States then I won't be getting any more this year, but I know that I don't need 40 odd lip balms, sorry, 55 lip balms, so I will use up some of the ones that I've got, and maybe next time instead of buying 3 large packets of lip smackers, I'll only buy 1 large packet of lip smackers because I really don't need 60 odd lip balms. Bath oil, I did have 1, I now have 2. I didn't buy them, I just miscounted the last time I did this because I found 2 in my cupboard and I don't buy bath oil. So feminine wash, I did have 0, I still have 0. Feminine wipes, I did have 1, I still have 1. Foot masks, I had 0, I still have 0. Bath salts, I had 0 and now I have 6, which they were gifts for Christmas, so I don't really use bath salts, but I like to have something to put in my bath. So I either need one bubble bath or some bath bombs or 1 packet of bath salts. I don't need all of this, so I will use up and not replace. Bath bombs, I did have 6 and now I have 8. So that's my skincare and body care section. The next section is nail polish, and nail polish is always going to be a long section. No, for top coat, I had 8 and now I have 7. For base coat, I had 2 and now I have 2. Top coats and base coats. Base coat, I only need 1. Top coat, I only need 1, and then maybe like the leave-in conditioners, if I have this much top coat left, then I'll buy another one, so that will count as 2. So really 1 or 1.5 or whatever is fine. Polish thinner, I did have 1 and now I have 2, but that's because for that specific reason, I literally have maybe this much left in the last packet. So I bought another one so that I didn't run out completely. That's why I have 2 of those, but I only really need 1 at a time. Cuticle remover, I had 1, I still have 1. Cuticle treatments or nail treatments, I had 1, I still have 1. Cuticle oil, I've had 2, I currently have 3. I don't use cuticle oil, so I will probably try my hardest this year to use those up, and I just won't buy any. And then if I get some in, say like as subscription boxes or as a gift or you know, whatever, then I'll use it, but I won't physically be buying anymore. Yellow nail polish then, I did have 1, I still have 1. Blue nail polish, I did have 34, I now have 32. Pink nail polish, I did have 35 and now I have 42. Orange polish, I did have 13, I now have 15. Burgundy polish, I did have 17, I now have 16. Glitter toppers, I did have 10, I still have 10. Nude polish, I did have 15, I now have 14. Silver polish, I did have 1, I now have 2. White polish, I did have 5, I now have 12. Black polish, I did have 3, I now have 6. Purple polish, I did have 22, I now have 26. Grey polish, I did have 8, I now have 12. Gold polish, I did have 9, I still have 9. Brown polish, I had 9, I now have 12. Green polish, I had 13, I now have 17. And nail polish remover, I did have 1 and now I have 2. I only need 1, but I bought another one because I need 1 and I left my one that I had at my friend's house, so I had to buy another one to replace it because she lives far away. I couldn't just pop round her house and say, can I have my nail polish remover back, because it would have been a 6-hour drive. So I had to buy another one, but now I got the other one back, so I'll use that up and not replace it so that I only have 1. And isopropyl alcohol is in this category because it doesn't fit anywhere else, and I have 1 and I used to have 1. So in terms of nail polish then, I didn't go through any goals on that because nail polish is one of those things where I will always probably want nail polish, and I don't necessarily have a goal for my nail polish collection. I would like to be able to say that my polishes are constantly rotating, so my collection isn't super old and I don't have polishes that have been in my collection for 10-15 years because I would have used those up. So the polishes that are coming in, like, it's always cycling, so I might grow and I might shrink and then I might grow again and then I might shrink again and then I might grow again, but I'm constantly using them, so I don't really want to set a goal for that just yet. So the last category then is makeup that isn't nail polish related. So for foundations I did have 4 and I still have 4, but realistically I only want 2. I want 1 for every day that I can wear whenever, or that doesn't necessarily have to last a long time on my skin, and 1 that's more for like outings and things that I need to last throughout the day or need to make my skin look good, that kind of thing. So 2 foundations I want to get down to. Concealers, I did have 2, I now have 4. Now concealer, I only buy the same type of concealer over and over again, so I will use up the 4 that I have and then I'll probably buy 2 or 3 more because I know that I'll use them. Cream eyeshadows, I did have 2, I still have 2. I want to have 0 cream eyeshadows, basically. I don't necessarily like cream eyeshadows. So black eyeliners, I did have 11, I now have 10. Black eyeliners, realistically I only need 1 at a time, but I use black eyeliner all the time, so I'll get through the ones that I have. Brow products, I did have 8, I still have 8. I don't need that many. I realistically only need 3. I need a brow pencil or a brow powder, and the third item would be a brow gel to then set the pencil or the powder. Mascara, I did have 4, I now have 3. Mascara, again, because I know what I like and I don't buy any other type of mascara, I get it when it's on offer. When it's on the 3 for 2, I will take advantage of that and buy 3 at a time. So blush, I did have 32, I now have 39. That's something that I need to work on. I'm not going to be buying many blushes, I can't imagine, for the next few years, just because I know how long a blush takes to use up and I don't need 39 of them. I realistically only need 5 or 6 blushes just to have a colour variation. I don't need any more than that. The same goes for bronzers. I don't really need more than 2 bronzers at a time. I did have 3 and I now currently have 3. So, oh no, sorry, that's the wrong thing. I did have 6 and now I have 5. I definitely don't need 5 bronzers. I really only need 1 or 2. Eye primer, I did have 3, I still have 3. I don't need 3 eye primers either. I realistically only need 2 eye primers. I have one which is a glitter glue, which is for setting foiled eyeshadows and glitters, and another one which is an eyeshadow base, which is for all different kinds of eyeshadow, not including glitters. So I would like to just have 2. Highlighters, I did have 40 and now I have 43. I don't need 43 highlighters, and I don't need to buy highlighter again for a very long time. I would like to have maybe, again, like blushes, like 5 or 6 of them, just to have a colour variation depending on what look I'm going for, but I don't need 40 odd. Lipstick, which is just like bullet lipsticks, I did have 28, I now have 32. I don't need 32 lipsticks, especially 32 lipsticks that are pretty much the same shade, so I will be working on that category. I don't really have a goal for that, maybe 10, maybe 15, not something like 1 or 2, because I like to have the different colours to choose from, but yeah. Liquid lipstick, I did have 22, I now have 26. Again, I don't need 26 liquid lipsticks, maybe I'd have like 5 or 6 liquid, and then 10 or 15 bullet lipsticks. Lip gloss, I did have 13, I now have 20. Lip gloss I use more than lipstick now, just because before I was using lip balms. When my lipstick fades away, I was just replacing it with lip balm and letting the lip balm like take on a tinted look. But now, instead of doing that, I use a lip gloss, and then I find I'm reapplying it more. So in terms of like being able to use up 20, that's fine, but I don't really need to bring any more in. Pressed glitter, I did have 18, and now I still have 18 because I have the 2 palettes from Revolution. I will be working on those this year. Setting powder, I did have 3, I still have 3. I only need 1, but 1 was getting low and 1 was in a gift with purchase, so I will use those up, but I won't replace them. I'll just keep 1 in my collection at a time. Chunky lip pencils, I did have 6 and now I have 7. I don't like lipstick in this form, so I will use those up and not buy any. Colour correctors I don't use, so I have 0 of those. Chunky eye pencils, again, I don't like eyeshadows in this form. I did have 9, I still have 9, so I'll be working on those as well. Blue eyeliner, I did have 2, I still have 2. I like to have a blue option, and I like to have a brown option, and I like to have a black option, so that's why I have those, but I only need 1 blue and 1 brown and maybe 2 blacks, so that's what I'm aiming for eyeliner wise. Setting sprays, I did have 4, I now have 5. I only need 1 setting spray. I don't use multiple setting sprays, and they all do the same thing. They're all mattifying, so I definitely don't need 5 mattifying setting sprays. Blush toppers, I did have 2, I still have 2. I don't like blush toppers. I don't necessarily use blush toppers, but I have palettes which have them inside, so I will use those up. And if I get them in a palette again, then I use those up, but I won't buy them in like single pans. I won't go out and search for them. Liquid highlighter, I had 2 and now I have 3. I don't like liquid or cream highlighters, so I will use up the ones I've got and not buy anymore. Lip pencils, I did have 10, I still have 10. I like lip pencils in that there are some colours which I can't get a straight line with, and the lip pencil allows for you to get a straighter line with. So I like lip pencils for that, and for that reason I really don't need 10. I only necessarily need 2 or 3. 1 in a red, 1 in a hot pink, and 1 in a nude, because they're the only types of shades that I would need that line for. The rest of the time I can tidy up the line myself, whereas bright reds and bright pinks, if you try and tidy it up, sometimes it smudges, so I like to have the lip liner for that. Purple eyeliner, I did have 2, I still have 2. I'm going to use those up, and I don't need a purple eyeliner, so I'll use those, and if I get them again, then it won't be through me purchasing them. Brown eyeliner, as I said, I really only want 1, and I do have 1 currently, so when I use up the one that I've got, I'll probably replace it. Lip stains, I don't necessarily use, but Erin gave me 2, so I'm going to try and use those 2. Loose pigments or loose glitters, I did have 6 and now I have 10. I don't really like loose glitters or loose pigments, but Erin buys them a lot and then passes them on to me, so I end up with all these loose pigments and loose glitters. So I really need to start focusing on them, and actually that's something that I'm going to try and do this year, especially the whiter shades I'm going to use as like inner corner highlights and stuff, and get those used up. Eyeshadows, as in eyeshadow pans, and when I count my eyeshadows, I count each pan individually, so like this to me is 9 eyeshadows. So going through all of my collection, counting every single pan of eyeshadow, I have 870, which sounds like a lot. It's not a lot as some people, and to me it feels like quite a lot, and I would like to use some up, but I'm not restricting myself on how many I'm bringing in. So I would like to have it around the 500 mark. I don't really need more than that, but if I see something, I'm not going to say, oh, well, I'm not down to 500 yet. I'm just going to get it. And the last item is liquid bronzers. And I had none of those, and I still have none because I don't like liquid products. So, yeah. And that's my entire inventory. I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it was really long.
I'm not sure I understand.
Thanks, Siri. I hope you enjoyed this video. Take care, and I will see you very soon. Bye!